This is Robert Kraft, and we're coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the offices of Continental Stock Transfer and Trust Company, where we're hosting a media day here in New York City. With me right now is Dr. Alan Joslyn from Oragenics, Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is OGEN. Dr. Joslyn, welcome to SNNLive.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for joining us today again. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and we'll go from there.
Oragenics is a Tampa, Florida-based company. We develop live biotherapeutics to treat a variety of diseases and have one compound to treat oral mucositis and a whole library of a brand new class of antibiotics.
So let's get a history of the company. When did it start, and how did you develop to where you're currently at today?
So the company actually is a spin-out from the University of Florida back in the mid-1990s. I've actually been at the company about 2 years now. We've transitioned the company to be a pure-play biotechnology company for about the last 2 to 3 years.
So what are some of the company's target indications to start off?
Well, our lead compound is AGO13. It's actually a live biotherapeutic that is being developed to treat the painful oral mucositis in cancer patients. It's actually in the clinic in a phase 2 clinical trial with FDA Fast Track designation.
So for those who don't know, what is oral mucositis? What is that pain sensation? What does that mean?
So oral mucositis is the painful blisters that patients who receive chemotherapy are well aware of, but those painful blisters prevent patients from being able to eat and drink. So what we have is a bacteria that actually produces the natural protein that your mouth naturally secretes that regrows the lining of your mouth very, very quickly, and thereby preventing those ulcers from occurring in the first place.
And what's the current standard of care, and how is what you're providing or developing different from that current standard of care?
So the current standard of care, believe it or not, there are only palliative treatments. So for example, magic mouthwash, which is a numbing agent, MuGuard, it's almost like a film that you place over the blisters so that you don't get it infected. A lot of patients actually receive opiates, and what we're trying to do with our product is prevent all of that from ever being needed by preventing those blisters from occurring in the first place.
Right. Okay, that actually answers my next question. It's a preventative as opposed to once you start seeing the symptoms.
That's exactly right. We actually start treatment on the very first day that a patient receives chemotherapy. It's an easy-to-use at-home rinse where we take a bacteria that's been fermented and freeze-dried. You mix it with a raspberry-flavored solution, rinse it around your mouth, and then just discharge it into the sink. Very easy to use.
So where's the company at currently in the clinic?
So we have recently completed a safety review that the FDA had asked us to conduct, and everything went great. We're resuming the enrollment in that clinical trial. We have to enroll about 160 more patients, and we're looking to activate multiple countries, including the UK, Belgium, Germany, in addition to the United States.
And what's the size of the target market opportunity?
Well, just in the United States, about 750,000 patients will receive chemotherapy as their initial course when they're diagnosed with cancer. And so that population, because they receive chemotherapies, for example, like cisplatin, they're my target population. They have a high likelihood of developing this oral mucositis side effect, and we want to try and prevent it in that population.
And what would you say is the company's competitive advantage versus the competition out there developing similar, or is there competition?
Well, there are. There are other companies out there that, for example, have injections. So clearly the ability of my product to be used in the convenience of your kitchen is a huge advantage. And because really I'm using a lactococcus bacteria that's found in milk and yogurt, my cost of goods is extremely low relative to purifying proteins and storing those. So the advantages that our company has is the convenience to the patient and the very low cost of goods for production of the material.
And what's your background? How did you get into all this?
Well, I actually have a Ph.D. in biochemical pharmacology, and I spent about 15 years developing drugs in big pharma, Glaxo, Johnson & Johnson. And I've been lucky enough to be the CEO of Oragenics now for a little over 2 years. I had a background in developing drugs for infectious disease and cancer supportive care, so it was a really good fit coming to Oragenics.
And from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's growth drivers moving forward?
Well, clearly, AGO13 is the big growth driver. It's our late-stage compound, but we also have this whole library of about 700 compounds that are a brand new class of antibiotics. So when you look at Oragenics long-term, it's going to be the development of that library to treat a variety of multi-drug resistant infections, and we're just now beginning to scratch the surface on the potential for that library.
And where can our audience go and find more information about Oragenics?
Well, we obviously have our website, www.oragenics.com. There are research reports put out by a couple of firms, Zacks and Diamond Equity, are other places that you can go find information on Oragenics.
Great. And that's www.oragenics.com. My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the offices of Continental Stock Transfer and Trust Company, where we're hosting a media day here in New York City. With me again is Dr. Joslyn from Oragenics, Inc., publicly traded company. The symbol is OGEN. Dr. Joslyn, again, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.